Johnathan, how do you set goals for yourself, right? How is it that you are able to say, okay, this is going to be my goal for this year? As we talk about continuing to move forward and looking at, okay, well, at the end of this year, I want to be here. I want to do this. I know some people kind of just put goals out there that might not be, the whole SMART goal. They kind of like, they got to be measurable and sustainable and SMART, right? So,
those other things.
But how do you set goals? And one of my mentors, actually the CEO of my company, not Black Menswear, but the CEO of the company that I give my 9-to-5 time to. And he says, if your goals aren't big enough, if your goals don't scare the hell out of you, they're not big enough.
Big enough. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that makes me, okay. But like for you, how do you set your goals, whether that's short-term, long-term, and then all in between?
So this is a very interesting question because, for me at least, because I don't do well with long-term goals. I don't, because things change for me. I'm a quick start by nature. So if you say in 5 years, you know how much things have changed in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
There are positions now that people get paid for that didn't even exist 5 years ago. What was a social media manager 5 years ago, right? So when you start saying 5 years, 10 years, I want to do this. Now, there are some things that I want to do for sure, but I don't know when that time is going to come. Mm-hmm. There's two things that are important to me. Number one, the impact. I know for sure that there are impact goals that I have. There are things not just that I want to do, but what I want to represent. Mm-hmm. So I want to represent something in the world. I want to own a concept so that when people think about the word connection, you automatically think Johnathan. Yeah. Period. Yeah. And so I've got work to do. There are some other proof points along the way to build that brand equity in people's minds. Mm-hmm. But then I also have another set of goals. And these are what I call no goals. I want a certain amount of no's along the way. I think you're brilliant at what you just were saying. I was just on the inside like, because the more you learn how to fail, mm-hmm. the less the concept of failure is actually scary. Mm-hmm. One of my dear friends, Garrett Gunderson, said, he was talking about how you haven't arrived in business until you've been sued. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want to arrive in. He said, he's so wise. He said, it's a scary thing that's no longer scary. Mm-hmm. John Jones, the mixed martial artist, he said, when you've made peace with the worst case scenario, then you can live. Yeah. Right?
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is you get knocked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I'll get up. Right. And then what?
Right.
And so I have some no goals. And when you do that, it takes the sting out of it. Mm. No, well, good. Thank you. That's why. Right. Yeah. No, you're not there. Great. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a little insight into my life. Like, there are some things that I want to do that are just way different than what my past has looked like. And one of the people who I was just talking to this week, he has been the tour manager for Beyonce, for Rolling Stones, for Fleetwood Mac, and like major artists like this. Okay, so he was.
You had me at Beyonce,
right? First, that's it. So he's like, he knows everybody. Yeah. And he asked me to help him with some things, and that was already very, very humbling that he would consider me knowing who all he knows. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he said, so what do you want, Johnathan? And see, this is what I mean. Like, I want to have this conversation about those things when the little boy inside of you starts to speak. Mm-hmm. That little boy that fears rejection, that little boy that doesn't want to be hurt, that little boy that doesn't want to be exposed. Because when he asked me, honestly, the first thing I said was, I don't know. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I'm the one helping the world and like telling people, and I was like, no. Okay, wait. Let me think about it. Right. And then I it was really interesting, just being a bit transparent. Yeah. It wasn't that I didn't know, it was that I didn't want to expose that part. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to just say it. I didn't want to be honest in that moment. Mm-hmm. And I finally told him what I just told you. Mm-hmm. And he said, it's interesting that you say that, because I know a lady who managed it's a little independent artist. Michael Jackson